for our review, and this is a moderately highly requested review.
Yeah, you guys wanted to see this.
Yeah, and of course Hailey's always looking down.
I know. I'm looking at my damn palette.
Okay, so we're reviewing this guy here. So,
Whoa!
Cheers!
There you go.
So it is going to be our little review of the Tarte. The Christmas collection is called Works of Tarte.
Yes.
I don't like that name.
Neither do I.
But this is the Colour Wheel Blush Palette. So it's an Amazonian clay blush palette. And I'll give you some background first. We bought these. It was a 2-day preview sale on the Australian Sephora website.
Yep.
They're not, as of today that we're filming this,
they're not available.
They're not available yet, but they will be coming in store and online again soon. They are technically available on the Tarte website, but they're out of stock.
Yes.
So you can keep an eye out there as well.
Yep.
Note though, I would recommend if you're in Australia to buy it from the Sephora because it's $65, free shipping over $50.
Yep.
Whereas the Tarte website, it's like free shipping over like $115 and they're 72 Australian dollars. So a bit more expensive on the Tarte website.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're from the US, they're $44 US and they are available on the Sephora website. I checked, they're online, they're there. So that's the background of this. We got it like a little sneak peek preview sale.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how we got it.
Yes.
That's the thing.
It's a thing.
I want to talk about as well, this is the packaging that it comes in. So it's a box. I don't love the design.
No, neither do I. I think the design, you know what I'm feeling with Tarte? Like, I've been looking at some of my other Tarte stuff and I'm kind of like, this is borderline like 40-year-old lady or tacky glitter.
I agree.
It's just
tacky.
It feels aged or it feels tacky and gross.
I agree.
Is that like...
But the thing that annoys me the most is the actual design.
Yeah.
The actual design of the palette itself is good.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
The visual is...
Yeah.
The design, the functionality...
It's great.
Yes, I totally agree.
I also want to mention that if you've seen photos of this, you might have expected it to be a lot bigger than it is.
It's not.
It's quite a small palette.
Yeah.
It is the same size if you have something like the Rainforest After Dark, like eye and face palette. It is exactly the same size.
Yeah.
So it's exactly the same clip closure. It's the same size.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Okay, so inside, it's pretty.
It is pretty. There's 10 shades. You've
Yeah.
got 6 matte blushes and you've got 2 highlighters and then you have 2 shimmery blushes.
Yes. And then one side looks brighter and more sort of summer, springish, so warmer. And then one side looks more neutral or kind of cooler, so more plummy type shades.
Yeah.
So I like how it's set out.
So do I.
It's also got this kind of
I
thing.
love this.
Yeah.
This is genius. It's like it's a perforated piece of plastic at the base. So when you push it to one side, it stays there. It doesn't like flop back over.
Yeah, you can actually tell it where to go.
Yeah, you can. You fucking sit over there and you stay there.
You go right in the middle and you will.
And it will. Yeah. And it's like, yes, ma'am. I hear you and I will do as you please.
Yeah. I do want to mention though, if you look at the sizes of the pans, hold it up, Hailey, please. They're a little bit small. If you compare it to something that looks more like a full size, I don't know if this one in here is exactly a full size, but wait.
I would say, honestly, that does look full size to me.
So it is probably around, it's just under half the size. So a full size, I think it's 5.6 grams of product. These are 2.4. So it's less than half the size of a full size blush. But because you get 10 of them, it makes it good value because a normal blush, a single blush in Australia at least, I think it's $38 for one. So you're getting nearly the size of or the amount of 5 full-size blushes for less than the cost of 2 blushes. Yeah. So it is better value.
It's fabulous
it's
value.
Really good value.
Another thing that ticks the value box is the fact that the formula is really fucking nice.
Yes, I did want to address that though. A lot of people have concerns that the holiday releases are made in China and then the permanent products are made in the US.
Yeah.
I actually prefer the formula of these.
Yeah.
over the one made in the US. So the one in this is made in the US and it's a lot firmer. It does last on the skin better because it kind of grips to the skin, but it's harder to apply and I don't like it as much.
The colour intensity isn't as good as these blushes.
These are a bit more powdery and easier to apply.
The good thing about this, although they are a little bit more powdery, you don't get a lot of kick up when you go in with your brush.
So don't waste all of
So don't worry about that. They blend beautifully, they have really lovely pigmentation, and they last all day.
Yeah.
They will totally last on the skin. So don't be worried about like quality control issues with the actual blushes, highlighters themselves.
Like my boobies.
Oh, titties! Yay!
Photos.
That should have been our thumbnail.
Well, it can be.
One of my issues with this palette is
the colours?
Colour selection.
I agree.
So I like the highlighters. I like that they've got sort of a darker one and a lighter one. They both look good on me.
They're great. The
nice.
darker one is more of a gold champagne.
It
so
is.
most people, unless you're really, really fair, would be able to use it.
Yeah.
But the light one is gorgeous.
It's
almost
very
like,
pretty.
It's almost like a champagne silvery, but it's got like a pink shift.
It does. It's got a little bit of pink in there. It's like a pinky gold.
Yeah.
Very subtle.
It's really
and
pretty.
it kind of light shifts.
But you can build it up. It's not like one of those metallic strips on your face.
Yeah.
But I really love it. I think
but
it's so
even
gorgeous.
the darker one is kind of, it's a little bit pinky, a little bit goldy.
Super wearable.
Essentially what you've got here is, for me, it feels like the same highlighter, but two different tones. So you've got a winter one where you can wear it when you're fairer, and then you've got one that's really great for summer when you're a bit darker.
But what I love
like
about that as well is that because 3 of these shades here are matte, if you want to add a shimmer to it, you can add this as a blush topper, and then this shade, which is cooler, tends to work better with the plummy shades.
Yes.
So it is a smart way to set it up.
It is. It's very smart. The fact that they've got them like on each side, it's clever. It really is.
Can I talk about my main con?
Please, go.
I find that, well, firstly, my favourite type of blush is a peachy colour. There is 1 out of 10. I love the highlighters, so don't get me wrong. But if I was to use this palette every day, it would be using the peachy shade, which is called Mod, and then with a highlighter. I find that these 3 pinks on the top, even though one's shimmery, which is similar to like Orgasm by NARS, I find that the colour underneath is pretty much the same on the skin.
Yeah,
and then you go over to the plum side, and this is pretty much exactly the same.
I mean, they look a little bit different when you swatch them.
But when you apply
really on the skin, they kind of all look the same.
They do all kind of look the same.
They just kind of, honestly, that is my biggest pet peeve with these particular 3 down here on the more like darker mauvey end of the palette. I feel like people got lazy.
Yes.
People got lazy.
I think if they made like this to be more of a dusky rose.
Yes.
If they, even if they put another, like these 2 on the top are very, very bright. If you had one of them a little bit more toned down, I think it's just a very intense blush palette.
Yeah.
There's not many neutral shades, which people would tend to reach for more often.
Yeah.
So I think for me, some of them won't be touched very often, and especially the plum shades that are all just variations of the same shade is lazy, and it kind of angers me.
Yes, I totally agree. You've got 3 shades that are same. You've got 2 shades that are so bright and kind of garish that
are hard to wear.
They're hard to wear
if you don't like bright blushes.
Yeah, like they're very easy to apply. They blend nicely and all that jazz. So you can definitely wear them, but they're so like
pink.
Pink and bright and like spotlighty on the face. So I don't really like that so much. Concept, which is kind of like, it's like a bronzer, but it's got like a gold sort of,
I think that's a nice
there's
colour.
a little bit of goldness in there, but it's very pink as well. So don't try and wear it as a bronzer. You're going to look...
I would say it's more like a sculpting blush.
Yes.
I like
that's how I've been using it.
But I would have liked to have seen more shades similar to that, but pink-toned ones, mauvey-toned ones.
Yeah.
More of a wear... Like, you can have the pop of colour, and you can have the pop of, like, this kind of plum colour.
Yeah.
You have one of each.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's a good palette otherwise.
They could have, okay, even if they left the more pink light top side as it is, down here, if they had just replaced 2 of these plum shades,
yeah,
I feel like, I feel like
wearable
instead of saying like this part is a disappointment, I would have been saying the palette is fantastic. Just because there's some shades that aren't my personal favorite, the palette is fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel like just with changing 2 shades, making them a bit different, this would have changed my opinion.
Completely.
Yeah, my opinion of the palette would have been miles different.
Yeah, but that's my only negative to this, really.
Yeah,
because everything else is great. I love the fact that you have a side that will work for autumn and winter, and then you have a side that will work for summer and spring.
Yeah.
The majority of them are matte. You've got the option of putting like a shimmer on top as a blush topper. I think this would take you all the way through the year. I also think if you're not sure what shades suit you, this is great because you can play around. I just think that those 3 are very lazy. And if you put a dusky rose, maybe like a more light mauve kind of shade,
it would have been beautiful.
It would have been phenomenal. But I love it.
Definitely.
I do like it.
I mean, even with these shades down here, they could have made one, like Kat said, more dusty rose, left one as it was, and then made another one more on the purpley spectrum.
Yeah, you could have done that.
Done.
Yeah.
Easy, 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 easy.
Yeah.
And I just think maybe that's just, like Kat said, a little bit of laziness. But if you're curious about the palette and you're wondering, like,
if it's worth the money.
If it's worth the money, yes, it is worth the money.
Yes,
okay. It's a very beautiful palette. The formula is very, very nice. Don't be scared that it was made in China. It's been made very well.
Yes, I agree.
You will not be disappointed. They blend beautifully. They apply beautifully. They wear beautifully.
Also, I want to just address one thing because some people don't understand this difference. Just because it was made in China, it doesn't mean that it's a cruelty product.
No.
It's still a cruelty-free brand because they don't sell
in China.
Therefore, it doesn't matter if it's made in a factory in China.
Yeah.
As long as it's not on the Chinese market, it's not being tested on animals. So
That's
just
correct.
be aware of that.
Yes.
It can be made in a Chinese factory and still be cruelty-free. A lot of people don't understand that distinction.
Yes.
It's just whether or not it's sold
in China,
in stores in China, and it's not, therefore, still cruelty-free brand.
It's still cruelty-free. So if you love the animals like we do, it's all good. Don't be scared.
Yes. Okay, guys, we'll see you guys next time.
That's it.
Give this a like if you like these kind of mini reviews, especially holiday ones.
Yeah. We enjoy doing them. They're nice and quick.
Yeah.
We can get the very basics of the information out to you guys. Sometimes we actually test them on the spot too, but with a blush palette, it's kind of hard.
Also, I did do a review that's already up. I'll link it in the corner and probably in the description box.
Yeah.
I've done arm swatches and I do demonstrate applying 2 of the shades.
Yeah.
And Hailey will be having a review coming up later this week. So if you do want to check out her one, go to her channel, check out our channels, subscribe to our channels. But we do have more in-depth kind of individual reviews. I'll also do a blog post sometime soon as well with better arm swatches. So if you want to see the shades swatched, all the details down below.
Alright guys, I want to introduce you to Beauty News' new studio. Say hello, Kat.
Hello, Kat.